The following program is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
Good morning, Central Valley. I'm your host, Craig Barton, and welcome to the Real Estate Radio Network, the most important hour of radio each week, here on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Real Estate Radio is a show dedicated to bringing some rational thought to the crazy world that we live in and helping you to rebuild the Central Valley's housing and credit markets. You know, within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice. And that's exactly what you're going to hear every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on 105.9, the FM KMJ. You're snapping your fingers at me this early in the morning. I'm so sorry, but...
Good morning, Craig.
Well, good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Happy Sunday morning.
Happy Sunday morning.
It's only
blue
going to
and
be
yellow, blue and yellow.
Only going to be 99 degrees today, I think.
It's cooling off.
Thank
That's
you,
good
Jesus.
because, honestly, people don't want to be shopping for houses much when it's 111.
Yes, I hear you have a new marketing plan for those folks that would like to be inside. Just call Lisa. Lisa will set up a portal for you.
Mm-hmm. And shop from home.
Shop from home.
I do have that.
Shop on your couch.
Oops. Sorry.
Wow.
Oh, look, somebody started shopping from home.
Already
this morning.
Already this morning.
But
it's 7:02.
Our alternative to that
yeah,
is we will show you homes with pools that are vacant. And you may leave the property last, and I will not look when you jump in the pool.
Okay, I think that's an ethics violation just right there.
I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything?
I did nothing but open the house
I'll turn my
up.
back
I'm going to lock up while you guys finish looking at the backyard, is
Johnny,
what I say.
I think we better close your ears.
I'm kidding.
You become an accessory.
I'm kidding. However, I will say this.
Yeah.
Because it really felt hard on my heart one day. I was showing a home, and
you pushed a client?
No, we went to the backyard because the client is looking for a pool.
Oh, okay.
And we could tell there were squatters that had been visiting the property, and there was an empty pair of shoes with holes in the bottom by the pool.
Oh.
So, sadly enough, we realtors see a lot of craziness, but that made me very sad. And there was a box of clothes and shoes around the corner of the house. So just so you know, folks, if you hear a splash next door and nobody lives there, it's probably not me and my client. It might be a squatter who's cooling off in 111 degrees.
Wow. It
was kind of sad, actually. I said my prayer before I left.
Good.
All right, on that solemn moment, happy Sunday. And for any of you out there, just, know that you're not as hot as you could be.
Yes, it is hotter. There
are people who are hotter out there in this world.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is
so
true.
I'm just saying that. Okay,
there's always
sorry.
an upside.
I don't know why I thought of that.
Be thankful, right?
Amen. Be
there
thankful.
You go.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah, as always, it's so great to have my licensed
spinner. Sorry. I couldn't help but share the story. Okay.
No. I think it's important that you share. Sharing helps.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Yeah, sharing helps to give you perspective.
It does. It does. God is good.
Yeah. Michelle is a licensed real estate professional with Valleywide Homes. The name says it all. It sure does. We're also very fortunate to have Glenn Seaman, CEO and owner from Arise Solar, here in the studio with us this morning.
Blue and yellow, blue and yellow. Have you seen their cars? I love them. The little blue and yellow cars driving around town in the valley. Yeah.
They are very cool, aren't they?
I know. Every time I see them, there's Glenn's car.
What do you got to do?
I always look. Is that Glenn driving? No.
Yeah,
darn.
it's not Glenn. I know this is a loaded question, Glenn. What do you got to do to get a little yellow Arise, that's white, blue, and yellow Arise Solar?
Well, they're big vans, too, but I personally like the little mini cars, the little cars.
Like I said, you said you're getting a new car. I'll be happy to wrap it.
Hey, here's the thing. If I'm going to wrap a car in blue and yellow, it's going to be in Valleywide. We have matching colors.
Well, maybe we'll have to put our logos together on one car.
I don't know. That might be fun, actually.
But there's a will, there's a way.
There is. Hey, we might have to think about that one, Glenn.
Well, the Real Estate Radio Network gives us the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently for 1 full hour each and every week. Yes, we are here for an hour. You're stuck with us. Right, Michelle?
Are you apologizing ahead of time?
I got to get it off my chest. Our goal at the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market, because it is ever evolving. So we can help bring you
back home.
Well, on today's show, Fannie and Freddie help homeowners actually keep their homes.
Is that a cartoon? It sounds like it. Fannie and Freddie help homeowners keep their homes.
Yes, Fannie and Freddie. Yes. And California Association of Realtors reports sales and strong sales have been bolstered by higher-priced regions in California. And the median home price records the largest year-to-year gain since 1980. Now, in this report, we're also going to talk about why we shouldn't be concerned. First thing I saw when I read the title was "Be afraid, be very, very afraid," because it's not a good thing for the large. I mean, think about this: the largest year-over-year gain
in almost 35
since
years.
1980.
You know what I find interesting? In the 80s, rates were like 19%. So I'm guessing, and I have no data to support this, that during that time period, rates went down, which then caused purchasing to go up. That would be my guess.
That rates did go down from early 1980s.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So year-to-year gain, wow, that's a little concern.
Mm-hmm. Well, and on that footnote, California home price increases, are expected to slow.
I am happy to hear that, and I don't mean to be negative. However, I spoke to somebody this week, and the issue was their concern. They were an older folk person, and older folk. I mean, they were a retired person who's living off, their retirement.
Sure.
Nonetheless, their concern was pricing going out of this world, and then, what's that going to do?
Again, affecting affordability.
Pricing isn't the issue, I said.
Yeah.
Here's what the issue is. If we keep pushing pricing up, what happens is people can no longer afford the housing with conventional or FHA financing.
Right.
So then we get creative with financing, and that's where the trouble begins, I said. Not necessarily pricing. It's the finaglers and, creative. The creative folks out there that cause us a little dilemma.
Too many folks having access
to too much money.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. It was interesting.
And you'll see that is one of the things that they talk about in this report that we're going to talk about later in the show that says don't be so concerned because here's the variables that we believe are affecting today's market versus 5-6 years ago.
Right.
And the
creativity.
The creativity and the access to cash that gave
not everyone needed.
Yeah. Too many buyers had easy access to cash.
Right.
Yeah. We're also going to go into depth today with Glenn Siemens, our CEO and owner from Arise Solar, and tell you just how easy it is to go solar.
It is super easy.
Just stop one of those cars.
It's a no-brainer today.
Just stop one of those Arise Solar, blue
there's
and
no
yellow.
need to carjack one of the guys in the cars. We've got Glenn here in the studio for the next hour, and let's do something that's not going to get you picked up by the popo. So, again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that you hear on our show, it all starts with one call, and that's a call from you. Call us anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We'd love to hear from you. Input from our listeners is, number one, always great to hear. Some of the times we hear a side to the story or a question that raises maybe a different angle to look at things. You can also go to our website, check out our resources online. You can also listen to past shows from the Real Estate Radio Network by going to valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use Press 4 keywords.
Friend Valley Wide on Facebook.
Or use Press 4 keywords.
KMJ, call Valley Wide.
To call into us anytime, not just during the show, after the show, during the week. Michelle may not call you back at dinner time because that is an important part of the day. So, but we'd love to hear from you. Well, today's hot property is brought to you by Perfect Home Inspections. Whether it's residential, multifamily, or commercial, Dale can do it all. Use Press 4 keywords, Perfect Home Inspections, or call Dale Devereaux today for your perfect home inspection at 352-6941. Again, that's 352-6941. Now, let's talk real quick. What's the importance of a home inspection, Michelle?
Ooh, home inspections are going to give you a basic umbrella inspection of the property. If there are concerns with the roof, they're going to flag that. If there's concerns with electrical, they're generally going to flag these things. Some of them do pool inspections. I had one a couple weeks ago that Dale did for me, and the pool light's out. And that's something, midday. Are we thinking about a pool light? No, but that's what he was able to say. Hey, we got a problem with the pool light. It's filled with water. It's not working. Okay, didn't know that. So really...
And don't go down and try to change the light by yourself.
Yeah, in my opinion... Getting a home inspection is like getting your car reviewed by your mechanic before you purchase. You just want to make sure the engine's not going to blow next week.
Right.
yeah, it might need new tires. Yeah, bumper might have a dent in it. But at the end of the day, is it going to run well? Is it going to do the job you're asking it to do?
Based upon the age, condition, and so forth, the number of miles on the property, on the car. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, if there was additions, do we have power in that room?
Sure.
Are there things that we need to know about the property in order for us and our family to feel safe buying it?
Sure.
So yeah, that's generally why we do inspections.
There you go. Well,
love it.
Today's property is a HUD home located at 6811 East Princeton Avenue, Fresno, California, 93727. Major cross streets are Ashland and Temperance.
Ooh.
This property was appraised with an FHA appraisal at $210,000.
Nice.
1,769 square feet. Clovis Unified. Property was built in 2010. There are 0 repairs required on this property.
On the zero repair comment, can I ask you a question? I know that I visit the HUDs often due to the fact our office has the listings for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Appliances. I know I've seen HUDs where there are no appliances,
Correct.
and some where there are appliances. And I just had a question because one of my clients asked me the other day. Generally, when I'm talking repairs, there's a repair escrow, and oftentimes it's listed there.
Sure.
If it's not listed or there's no repair escrow, but there's no stove, has that happened after the property's been marketed potentially, or
it depends.
because we have seen some vandalism? I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah, I
don't mean to be rude. It just
it's
happens.
funny you say that because Lisa Fazio has a listing right across the street from my house, and she said it came on the market, and I said, "Hey, by the way, my truck's parked in the driveway." She goes, "No, please." I said, "I'll move it tonight when I get home," and she says, No, please, don't move it. I'm hoping it'll slow the vandals from taking the stove out of this property.
Because I have seen some things where the dishwasher is being...
We all have. I have. Lisa has.
Sure.
It's been somewhat of an epidemic.
Can I ask a question on the... So does that cause a problem with financing?
It can potentially.
Okay.
A stove is not necessarily a requirement that is required by HUD.
Okay.
Where it becomes a potential overlay is... Whoever the investor is,
who's lending,
that's lending.
Okay.
If they're Ginnie Mae direct, it's typically not an issue.
Okay.
If they are selling the paper to Chase,
okay,
or to Bank of America,
could be kind of quirky then.
Whoever it is,
right.
They can have their own overlays that requires a higher minimum credit score, certain amenities as far as the property is concerned, and a stove is typically one of them.
Okay, so we do want to do some clarity there in regards to talking with that loan officer and getting some clarification
and
if
ask
we
up
see
front.
that.
And you know what? That is one of the most common questions that I get. Well, I see that it doesn't have a stove.
Well, I'm glad I'm a commoner.
You
now.
are a commoner.
Great,
exactly.
I think.
So 1,769 square feet, Clovis Unified, built in 2010, appraised at $210,000.
That's a great price range out that way.
It is. It is. Again, if you'd like more information about today's hot property or you'd like to see it this afternoon, give us a call. Anytime. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Or use press 4 keywords.
KMJ Hot Property.
We will send you more information about this hot property right to your phone. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Excuse me. Top stories in the news. Fresno County, inventory is slowly but surely creeping up.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
1,193 active listings.
Hey, how many more than last week was that?
That's up
almost
about
100.
40 units.
No, that many?
Yeah.
I thought it was more like 100.
No, it's up about 40 units.
I'll
it's
take it. I'll take all 40.
Overall, in the last 3 weeks, about 70 units, which is actually pretty huge because we're talking that's 7 to 8% of the total active inventory. 68 of the total inventory are short sales, which accounts for 5.6%. 107 of the active listing inventory in Fresno County, or 8.9%, are considered REOs or foreclosures. And 1,018, first time we've eclipsed 1,000 units.
In traditional.
Yeah, traditional listings, which accounts for 85.33%.
I like that.
Yeah, as we've seen, and what's one of the major causes? In the last couple of weeks, it's been
the
interest rates.
And the interest rates.
Yeah, exactly. I was going there. Yeah. So we're 2 weeks in. We're basically 50% of the way, and you picked up a pretty big lead this last week, and the bet was that interest rates were going to drop 1.125%, or back down to roughly 3.5% on an FHA loan.
3.5 in 30 days.
Yeah, 3.5 in 30 days.
I stand by my proclamation of 3.5 in 30
That's good.
days.
And I was informed because of my
just because
taking
Ben
back.
Can't get with the program.
Yeah, I was informed this week that because of taking back much of that lead that she had gained, that we are now going to Wiener Schnitzel for lunch.
No, I said Taco Bell.
Oh, Taco Bell.
Yeah, they got the nachos.
That's even Is that worse or better?
I
I'm
think
not quite
it's
sure.
cheaper depending on what for one item to
You know
one
what you-
item.
yeah.
Unless we go on like
You know what you can get for $1?
unless we go on Corn Dog Tuesday night for $1 a corn dog or
You
something.
know, Taco Bell does have that $1 menu.
I might keep you to the dollar.
Actually, it's a little less than $1, yeah.
You know what, Craig? I'd be happy to take you and Tiff to Jocko's if you win. I just don't think you will. I'm going to take Tiff without you.
There you go. Well, Fannie and Freddie help homeowners keep their homes. Well, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac completed more than 130,000 foreclosure prevention actions during the first quarter of 2013, bringing the total foreclosure prevention actions to nearly 2.8 million.
Okay, that's way fast. Slow down. Say it again. Fannie and Freddie brought how many?
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Okay, and keep in mind, that's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They set all the guidelines for conventional or conforming loans that went under conservatorship back in 2009.
Okay.
So conservatorship, just to clarify, is kind of like
jail,
insolvency or bankruptcy. It's you have somebody looking over your books because
you didn't handle them well.
Are really upside down and didn't handle them well.
And of course, it's another government entity. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah. Well, Fannie and Freddie completed more than 130,000 foreclosure prevention actions.
Prevention actions,
yes. During the first quarter of 2013, bringing the total to nearly 2.8 million since the start of conservatorship in 2008. Excuse me, 2008, not 2009. These actions have helped more than 2.3 million homeowners stay in their homes, including nearly 1.4 million who received permanent loan modifications. Now, what I thought that was interesting was not so much the total number or what they had done in terms of foreclosure prevention actions.
Right.
Because when the day is done, these numbers account for such a small percentage of all the folks that have either modified or lost their home or short-sold their home.
Right.
This is just a drop in the bucket. I think the number is much, I believe the number is much lower now than what it has been in the past, just for the simple fact that, like we talked about earlier, short sales in today's market have dropped dramatically. So in this report, it also notes that serious delinquencies have dropped from 3.3% to 3% at the end of first quarter 2013.
Again, I think a lot of it has to do with people's perspective. If they feel house prices are rising and they might be able to
totally agree.
Get to a flat line where they're even Steven, they're willing to make that payment versus some of them who had given up.
Potentially catch up. Okay. The number of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac borrowers who were more than 60 days delinquent declined 11% in the first quarter to the lowest level since the first quarter of 2009.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, half of the troubled borrowers who received permanent loan modifications in the first quarter had their monthly payments reduced by more than 30%.
That's a big chunk of change.
And more than one-third of loan modifications completed in the first quarter also included principal forbearance.
Okay, pause right there. Okay, Fannie and Freddie were upside down.
Sure.
Now they're giving all this money away. How can they afford to do that? Oh, wait a minute. We live in the grand old USA. Never mind. It doesn't matter. We balance our budgets. Okay, never mind.
And over 30,000 short sales and deeds in lieu of foreclosure were completed in the first quarter, bringing the total to more than 476,000 since the start of conservatorship in 2008.
Do you think if Uncle Sam balanced the budget?
Okay,
kind of like the big daddy of the tax
Don't get me
land,
going that we can't even
if he
balance
balanced
a
the
budget,
then maybe people would learn to balance budgets. I'm just saying. I just think it's a great thought.
Yeah, let's talk real quick about May home sales and price report. Well, unfortunately, average sales price in California, according to this report that was published by the California Association of Realtors, increased from April to May from 402,000 to 417,000. Now, May's price was up 31.9% from a revised 316,000 recorded in May 2012, marking 15 straight months of annual price increases and the 11th consecutive month of double-digit annual gains.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah, so I broke it out here. Average sales price rose from 402 to 417. May of last year was 316. Month to month, the change from April to May of this year was 3.6%, but year-to-year change was 31.9%.
Scary. Can I ask a question, though? 417, that throws us into jumbos, doesn't it?
Well, anything in excess of a purchase price of 417 is considered non-conforming or jumbo financing, and the rules change dramatically. That's basically 417 or below is anything Fannie and Freddie.
So once you hit 417, what are the options available?
Yeah,
Not a whole lot.
20% down.
You get 20% down, or you ain't buying it.
Unless you're part of some, J.P. Morgan Chase Wealth Management, where they manage a significant amount of your wealth portfolio,
Right,
and you've got $1 million,
that's your note
$1 million
against it.
under asset management and so forth.
Gotcha.
Then they'll push it a little bit for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Typically, from what I've heard, is no less than 10%.
And all
down.
47 clients I have are in that situation.
Yeah,
of course.
let's talk about Fresno County. Average sales price rose from April to May, 167 to 173. Average sales price rose from 141 in May of 2012 to 173 in May of 2013.
Hey, we're still half of what the state is.
Yeah,
we're still looking good. We're still looking affordable here.
Wow, yeah, up 18.5%.
Wowzers. And weren't we reported to be like one of the smelliest cities in the top 10 or something in the nation
the
something like that?
The drunkest city in the nation.
Drunkest?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been drinking this
No,
morning? I wasn't.
I haven't. No. I've
was it the
had
drunkest?
coffee.
I thought it was the dirtiest or something.
I think it was both.
And I'm quite disappointed in that, considering... You think if they could change that we might go to the 417 spot? 417,000 average
Bigger
purchase
draw.
price?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
That was a
We're
reach.
going to work on that.
That was a reach, let me tell you. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that Michelle, myself, and
Shh, don't say it.
Glenn here, what?
That's Glenn.
Share with you here in the...
Blue and yellow, blue and yellow.
It all starts with one call.
Blue and yellow cars.
Yeah, we're gonna send you directly to Michelle, and she's going to sing to you. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We'd love to hear from you. You can also go to our website, search for your new home. Go to valleywidesells.com. Again, that's valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use Press 4 keywords.
Friend Valleywide on Facebook.
Or use Press 4 keywords.
KMJ, call Valleywide.
To call in to Michelle, myself, or Glenn anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Well, coming up, we're going to talk with Glenn Siemens, CEO and owner from Arise Solar, to help shed some light on just how easy it is for you to go solar. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on 105.9, the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Mortgage interest rates are at historic lows, and there's never been a more affordable time to buy real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let the mortgage professionals at Valleywide help. Valleywide Homes has been helping homeowners with their mortgage needs since 1997. When it comes to the Valley's real estate, we know our way around the neighborhood. Call toll-free, 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you. Valleywide Homes, NMLS number 342062, 235-952, California Department of Real Estate License 0122-8460. Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer, at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use Press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Did you know that all the tickets you can buy on different websites come from the same place? Did you know that you can buy every ticket you need to any event in the country? The whole country, from Pete's Seats right here in Fresno. If that's the case, you need to call Pete's Seats. Any ticket, anytime. Sports, concerts, theater. Hey, there's seats, and then there's Pete's Seats. Premium tickets for all events. Local, national, worldwide. Don't settle for a regular seat when you can get a really good Pete's Seat. Online at peteseats.net or simply 294-SEAT. That's 294-7328.
How much should I be saving? When can I retire? What can I do to ensure that my estate will be left in the hands of my family once I'm gone? Is my hard-earned money safe in today's markets?
With all the uncertainty in today's world, all of us at the Island Group know it is our job to provide answers to these questions. Walk with us, the Island Group at UBS Financial Services. Call me, Kate Island, at 559-248-4097. That's 559-248-4097. And take the first step in protecting your financial future.
All rights reserved. UBS Financial Services, Inc. is a subsidiary of UBS AG. Member SIPC.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, as we mentioned, Michelle and I have Glenn Siemens, CEO and owner of Arise Solar, here in the studio with us this Sunday morning to help us
Blue and yellow, blue and yellow.
It is great to be here.
It's always great to have you, Glenn.
That's fun.
Yeah,
You know-
he'll even put up with us. Actually, more so you, but
I just
put up with us.
I just
How's that,
mentioned to
Johnny?
Glenn I see him every morning.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I drive from South Valley into town every morning.
Yeah.
So I wave. He hasn't missed a morning yet. He's
He
on a
hasn't
big
missed a morning
billboard.
yet.
He sits on that billboard every morning just
He's
to
pretty
wave at me.
consistent, huh?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, I know. I told him my wife was much prettier, but my marketing director said, no, you're
Yeah.
basically going so.
Yeah.
So you have
I
to
wave
suffer
at
with
him.
it.
Good morning, Glenn. Every
Yeah.
morning.
So if you're headed north on Clovis Avenue and you're just before McKinley, it's McKinley, by the airport, on the west side of the street, look for Glenn's billboard.
And on 99.
Oh, is there one on 99
There's one
too?
on 99. That's the one I'm talking about.
Could be.
He's like, I don't know where I am.
All I do is pay the bills.
Just pay and smile
gonna
and
have
wave.
to
That's right.
Blue and yellow.
Gonna have to talk with my marketing person.
Yeah.
So, Glenn, let's talk about solar real quick. So, some real quick, down and dirty. So, for our listeners, solar is what?
Well, you're talking about solar electricity.
Electricity
is what we're talking about
Yes.
now. Basically, it's real simple. It's a what people call a panel we put on your roof, and it happens to have a cell in there that when the sunlight hits it, it converts that sunlight into electricity, DC power. And we take that to another device called an inverter that changes the DC power to AC power, which is what your home has to use. And then we just connect that output to your electrical panel, and the house uses the solar energy before it pulls from the grid. So it's really simple. It's not really complicated, and that's the nutshell to it.
And what if I produce more?
If you produce more,
Go back on the grid?
yes, that has to do with how you design the system. But
I
if the
see.
system puts more power out than the home uses, it goes back to the grid, and PG&E has to credit you at the same rate they charge you for that excess power.
I gotcha. Okay, just curious because the way you explained it comes to you before PG&E.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
So, talk to us. Why are so many homeowners, whether they're homeowners or business owners, choosing to go solar?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the cost of the solar has come down dramatically. It's dropped about 80% in the past 2 to 3 years.
80%.
80%, yeah.
Wow.
The module cost. So the module cost is now about where it's levelizing. In fact, it's going to start to go up a little bit. So what we're working on now is the balance of system costs, the racking and the labor and all that kind of stuff, how to reduce that. With all that, the cost per kilowatt hour now for solar is almost at what they call grid parity. So you will almost basically pay the same cost for solar that you would pay purchasing it from the utility company.
Wow.
So like I said, it's really becoming a no-brainer at this point.
Now, let me ask you, I know that I've been at like home shows in different places where there are 15 solar companies
No,
out
there's
there.
like 50.
Okay, maybe 50. Maybe 50.
Yeah.
And I've heard people ask the question, well, I only spend $100 on my PG&E right now,
Right.
a month. Is it worth it? And I hear a lot of no. It's not worth it at times, they say.
Right now, the break-even point, I would say, is about $150 a month.
150
Yeah.
is about what it is. Okay.
Right.
So, if your bill is consistently $150 or more,
Then what you'll be doing is you'll just be transferring money from what you used to pay PG&E to purchasing a solar
System.
electric generating power plant that at some point will be paid off. So it depends on what the clients want to do.
Sure.
You know, I mean, even if you're paying a little bit more per month now,
It's the long-term effect. that
yeah, I
your
mean, you
goal
could have your
is.
system paid off. Well, if you pay cash, it's paid off then. If you finance it, you could have it done in 12 years, and then you own it.
Yeah.
Right, and I think Kate said those kinds of costs double every 18 years. Living expenses.
in terms of
living
yeah,
expenses.
like PG&E
Yeah.
isn't.
PG&E, for instance, might, generally, typically may double in the next 18 years. So by the time you're at the point where you've paid it off, it's already doubled,
You're
and
plus,
you're
plus,
saving.
plus.
Yeah, you're saving that $150
Well,
now,
I
potentially.
I don't know if I should let our listeners know this, but since 2004, PG&E has changed their rate schedules 3.7 times per year, and they've had 2 rate increases this year alone already.
So we might beat the 18 years, is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying without saying it, Glenn?
Yeah. So
Read between the lines.
So
Read between
historically, and anyone can go on PG&E's or Southern Cal Edison's website, pull up the rate schedules, and do their own research.
Well,
on
and
that,
it's,
so
I
fair.
mean, it's just like any other commodity that we find to be a necessity.
Right.
Gasoline, same thing, people.
Right.
It's not going down.
Yeah, but the great thing
Gotcha.
is what we do is we switch most people to what's called a time of use rate,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason we do that is we take the increase in the utility rates and make it to your advantage. So when your rate goes up, PG&E has to credit you at that higher rate. So you
Nice.
just got a raise.
Nice.
So
I like that.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah.
I
So
do too.
someone thinks that, hey, solar might be a good idea for me, and they're paying $150 or more monthly on their solar bill, or I mean on their power bill. What are some of the ways that someone can afford? You had mentioned cash. What are some of the other ways that they can finance solar?
Cash is actually making a big comeback. You can certainly do cash. You can finance cash. There are programs out now where you can actually do a cash sale but finance it. There's some credit unions that have great financing for that. There are leases, and there's really two types of leases. There's a monthly lease, that you can get, or there's another type of lease called a PPA, which stands for a power purchase agreement. And I highly recommend against that product. That I do not see as
go into a little greater detail, because we spoke prior to coming into the studio, the power purchase agreement in terms of some of the logistics. So what... To me, it sounded like the power purchase agreement was somewhere in between, basically the solar companies taking a position somewhere between PG&E and the consumer, as opposed to the consumer buying, financing, or leasing the solar system.
Right. Like if you got a loan to pay cash for the system, normally your monthly payment's going to be fixed. If you do a lease, you can get a monthly lease payment that has a fixed payment. The difference with a power purchase agreement is you are paying a cost per kilowatt hour for whatever the solar system puts out. And normally it's at a few kilowatt hours less than your average PG&E
That's
bill.
how they make it attractive.
So it sounds attractive that way. It's zero down. You need a low credit score, and boom, you're up and running with that. But I look at it, if you really, what they're not telling you is what you could have instead of that. I feel it's almost like the VA commercial where people,
Wow,
hit themselves
I
and,
could have had a VA.
man, I could have had a V8. In this case, it's no, you could have purchased the system and done a whole lot better than locking yourselves for a 25-year contract. You can't get out of it. It goes up continually. It's just, I every time I work those numbers out, I just don't see it working.
Yeah. Well, it's important. That's the reason why we have you on the show this morning, is to help share that type of information with our listeners about exactly what a PPA or a power purchase agreement is, so that they have, knowledge is power, right, Michelle?
Well, yeah, it's like comparing a Hummer and a Toyota. What's the one that?
Corolla?
No, the littler one with the engine.
Tercel.
No,
Yugo. You said Yugo earlier.
I didn't. I said Toyota.
Okay, yeah, I know you said
The one
Toyota.
that's energy efficient.
Oh, Prius.
The Prius. So you compare the Prius and the Hummer. Which one are you going to buy when you start comparing, right?
Yeah.
So are they selling them on the low monthly for the Hummer?
They are selling them on the low monthly, zero down.
Zero down.
And fast installation will be on your roof.
There
in
you go. But the
45
Prius
days.
might cost you a couple more dimes
Right.
on the upfront.
Sure.
Right.
But in the long term, it's going to save you in the gas bill.
Right. Yeah.
We're just trying to make it easy to get a solar producing system on your roof.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can start making money.
So I'm trying to compare it, apples to apples, sort of, because people, solar is solar to the normal person out there. Like they don't really understand a lot of, I think, the differences that you try to explain, because it's confusing, because there's a lack of education out there.
Correct. Yeah. And we get that feedback a lot when we meet with our clients that have spoken with other solar people, that it's really not explained to them well enough.
Right.
And I think people are intelligent. You just need to give them a couple of options, find out what their needs are first. And if you give them what you feel is the best product for you, I mean, one of our core values is treat people how you want to be treated.
Sure.
And I pound that in my guys every Monday morning. We have that. So you treat people how you want to be treated, and it goes in the financing. It goes how you install. It goes in everything with that.
So the PPA that you mentioned, that particular style of solar.
It's a financing vehicle.
Oh, it's just the financing
vehicle. All it is a financing
I see.
vehicle.
Okay.
You have no idea what electrical generating equipment is being put on your roof.
Gotcha.
Sometimes they tell you, but they're not obligated to put that exact stuff on that when they sell it. You're buying a financing vehicle, not an electric power plant.
I see. That makes sense.
So my statement is you need to know what's going on your roof. You need to know that electrical equipment that's going up there, because if it's going to be up there 20, 25 years, it'd be a good idea the quality of it. Is it going to break down? Who cares about these warranties? I wouldn't want a warranty company on my roof every single year up there fixing something.
Right.
If it's up there, I just want it working.
Right. And saving me money.
Right, correct.
Yeah. I got you.
Right. So, Glenn, with respect to real estate, obviously this is the Real Estate Radio Network. Just in your opinion, how does the installation of a solar system, if you buy it or finance it, pay for it outright or finance it, affect the value of your home and the desirability or marketability of your home?
It's twofold. Actually, we don't get a lot of homes that are sold with solar, because once you put solar on your home and your bill goes to zero, it's sort of like, oh, I like staying here.
And I may not get there
true.
the next place I go.
That's true.
So actually what's happening, what we're finding is homes that do have solar are selling much quicker. I had a good friend that put solar on their home. They sold it in 3 days. This was back when the housing market was worse, about a year ago.
Yeah.
I like to think part of the reason that they had solar on that. The other great thing, too, is if you own the system, you don't lease it, and someone comes in and you don't feel they're offering you the enough value for it, have us relocate it. Take it off that house, put it on your other one.
There you go.
Wow.
What if
Now
you-
that's
You
interesting.
cannot do that with a lease or a PPA. It has to stay on that house.
So if
Oh,
you're
I gotcha.
leasing the system,
Right.
and it has to stay on that
It's
house.
gotta stay on that house.
Okay. Is that transferable to the new buyer of that
Yes.
property?
Right, and
Okay.
that's where you have to read the fine print of the lease or the PPA to understand how that happens. Most people don't, and I'd really admire our clients that ask for a copy of the. We do sell a lease, not a PPA, and I do admire our clients that ask for a copy of it before they sign. That's good. I
Yeah.
want people to know what it is that they're signing.
Yeah.
You know, just a little personal experience here with a couple of the HUD homes that we've received in our inventory over the last year, and we actually have one of them in our inventory right at the moment. Has solar panels on it. And so there is a lease that was recorded against the property, shows up on the preliminary title report. We contact the leasing company, and they basically say, so if somebody's going to buy this house, and correct me if this has just been my experience, someone wants to buy this house, we disclose to them, here's the deal. Either you take over the lease, or they come and get it.
Correct. Or you can purchase it sometimes. It depends on the lease agreement.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, and that's a UCC filing is what's put on the property.
Yep.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. But if you own the system,
Take it with you.
you take it with you or sell it or do whatever you want with it. It's
Yeah.
yours.
How quick? Let's say you guys come out and install a system on my roof today. How soon before I start seeing savings?
The minute we can turn the system on, you will experience savings day one.
Gotcha.
Yep. Because all of a sudden your meter stops, it goes backwards, and you're now generating power. Let's just say you're generating power at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you happen to be in the highest tier, which is 35 cents. And all of a sudden PG&E's reimbursing you at 35 cents
Love it.
for your electricity going out. That's a pretty good deal. That's a higher rate of return than the rate of return you guys were talking about a little earlier with the real estate.
Sure.
Right.
So
So it's funny that we have Glenn, not funny, haha, but interesting that we have Glenn in the studio this morning, because on my way to the studio, I'm driving by these, it was a Centex development, and Centex is pretty forward in terms of, I live out in Sunnyside, and there's a Centex development out there, and they have a lot of solar. And they have a couple different vehicles in terms of, they have the solar tile, where it's somewhat integrated,
Right.
and pretty flush with the actual tile, and then they have the other solar units that they have on the racks that they place on top of
Right.
the actual roof. And I'm driving by and I'm thinking, you know what? I need to get my boys to start a business where they go up and clean those panels for a fee. Hey, we're going. I'm just talking about being entrepreneurial, because there was a lot of dirty solar panels out in Sunnyside this morning.
yeah, you're starting to get those companies come around. Yep. We use one.
Do you really? That's great. What's usually the cost of that?
It's relatively pretty cheap. Actually, at about $45, they'll come out and clean your panels. They do it cheaper than I can send a guy out there, so we use them. Clear
Yeah.
Sun is the name of the company. They're
Yeah.
great.
Super.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
be danged.
Wow.
Good deal. Well, again, did you want to take a break?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay.
You're the boss. I'm
Again,
just,
if you have
yeah.
any real estate or mortgage related questions, Michelle said I can take a break. So
Blue
we're
and
gonna take a
yellow,
break.
blue and yellow.
Give us a call. Give us a call anytime. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We'd love to hear from you. You can also go to our website. Check out our resources online. Just ask Craig if you'd like to get information about solar, get information about filing bankruptcy, get information about selling your home, or what is my home worth. Go to valleywidesells.com. To friend us on Facebook, use Press 4 keywords,
Friend Valley White on Facebook.
or use Press 4 keywords
KMJ, call Valley White.
to give us a call anytime. Well, after the break, we're going to continue our conversation with Glenn Siemens from Arise Solar. Glenn is going to give us some other secret tips.
Is he going to give us a tour of his billboard?
Yes, he
In the
is.
blue and yellow car. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Exactly. Preferably not the little one. I don't fold up well.
All I want the little one. The little one's cool.
There you go.
We look like clowns getting out.
Yeah, we will at that. Yes, we look like clowns every Sunday we come into the studio. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate. Here on 105.9, the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing investment property, let the experts at Valleywide Homes help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Visit our website at reofresnohomes.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958. And put the seasoned professionals of Valleywide Homes to work for you. Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Did you know that all the tickets you can buy on different websites come from the same place? Did you know that you can buy every ticket you need to any event in the country? The whole country, from Pete's Seats right here in Fresno. If that's the case, you need to call Pete's Seats. Any ticket, anytime. Sports, concerts, theater. Hey, there's seats, and then there's Pete's Seats. Premium tickets for all events, local, national, worldwide. Don't settle for a regular seat when you can get a really good Pete's Seat. Online at peteseats.net or simply 294-SEAT. That's 294-7328.
How much should I be saving? When can I retire? What can I do to ensure that my estate will be left in the hands of my family once I'm gone? Is my hard-earned money safe in today's markets?
With all the uncertainty in today's world, all of us at the Island Group know it is our job to provide answers to these questions. Walk with us, the Island Group at UBS Financial Services. Call me, Kate Island, at 559-248-4097. That's 559-248-4097, and take the first step in protecting your financial future.
All rights reserved. UBS Financial Services, Inc. is a subsidiary of UBS AG. Member SIPC.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, were we going to write on my arm or what?
I was going to put a little face.
You were going to connect
happy
the
face.
dots. I got plenty of dots
So
on my arm.
all day you could think about
Yes,
3.5 and 30.
Yes, thank you. All right. So let's change the subject. Back to Glenn Siemens, CEO and owner of Arise Solar. So, Glenn, someone is listening to our show this morning and says, you know what? I just haven't really got off the dime and said, I don't, number one, I don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. So take the mystery out of their conundrum. And what's the first thing they do? First thing they do is they call Glenn. So let me get
Step
that.
A.
449.
Call Glenn. I'm writing
Step
notes.
A. You're taking notes. Good girl.
Call Glenn.
449-8989. Again, that's 449-8989. Mm-hmm. Get a hold of Glenn.
Yep.
Okay.
And then how does the landscape look from there in terms of the process?
Well, what we do is we actually want to put in what the customer wants, and if they don't fully understand that, we help them instead of us saying this is what you need.
Gotcha.
So we find out what that is first. Do they want to zero out the bill? Do they want to leave a $50 bill?
So clarification.
Clarification what they want. Equipment, quality of the equipment. What's important to them? How long do they need monitoring? Do they want to maintain it? Any of that kind of stuff. So we cover all that.
Do you have consumers that say, I really want to get over big on PG&E, so I want the credit to be so big? Or is it usually the comment, you don't have enough roof space?
Well, again, that gets back to the type of product. If you are not using a SunPower product, then you can run out of roof space pretty quick. If you're using a SunPower product, which is the panel up on your roof, we can pretty much zero out a bill with most roof lines. That panel just puts out a whole lot more power than anything else out there. To give you an example, the same square footage, a traditional panel, what we call it, puts out about 250 to 260 watts of power. The same size out of SunPower puts out 345 watts of power.
Wow.
So a huge difference with that. Not only that, but also in the quality of the product. So we find that information out. We find out a little bit of financing. Do they want to pay cash, or do they need financing of some sort? It's just a walking through them, listening to them, and then giving a couple of different ideas. And through that. It's real low key, not not high pressure. We treat people how we want to be treated, and then we assist them in a decision.
Gotcha.
Pretty much, yeah.
I want to stick it to PG&E, Glenn. So, and I want them paying me on a monthly basis, and I got a big old roof line.
Well, right now the current laws state that basically I cannot have a solar system that generates more electricity than the home has used in the past 12 months. So if your home has used 15,000 kilowatt hours, my solar system basically cannot put out more than 15,000 kilowatt hours.
There goes my revenge.
Okay. If it does, you become what's called a net energy generator.
And now you have some laws you have to
right,
behave.
and PG&E will pay you a whopping 4 cents a kilowatt hour for anything over what you used.
I knew there was a catch.
So
I can zero it out. But
So it's
About
Utilities
Yeah.
Commission has got their ways.
the PUC.
right. So there's things called feed-in tariffs, which actually the city of LA just implemented.
Feed and tariffs.
Feed-in tariffs.
Oh, feed in. I thought my
Right.
feet were going in.
No, now you got me saying it. Feed-in tariffs, which is a little different, which is you are basically signing a contract with the utility company that they're going to pay you X amount per kilowatt hour for the production you're putting in. California is trying to go there. We are not there yet.
So we better get our pool before we put our solar on the roof to make sure we can cover that.
Say that again.
I want to put the
I
pool
want
in
dig a
and get
pool.
that generated.
Yes.
Get so that I know what to put on the roof in order to eliminate my pool
Yes,
expense.
we can do some load analysis on that. If you're building a brand new home, what we do is we bring in a gentleman called the CEPE,
Wow,
Certified
I love these
Energy
acronyms.
Practitioner Engineer, and
Is he a
examiner,
doctor? Is that a
something like
PhD that he has
It's
to have?
close.
A BS, BA?
Yeah, and
From
he
FSU? Sorry.
he generates a report that on best experience and what the computer generates is that the home of this size will use X amount of kilowatt hours, and we can base our system size on that.
It's a guesstimate, a very strong,
it's a much better
educated
guesstimate than
I
just
see.
picking numbers out of the air. Right.
Okay,
Right.
I like that.
Yep.
Hey, I'm just trying to cover all bases
Right.
because I
And-
like to swim.
And the good thing is, one thing we hadn't talked to you yet is there is a let's see, it is Senate bill. Where's my notes here? I'm
Are
sorry.
we bringing,
Bill
we're bringing the
743.
senators in?
AB 217. Yes,
That's Assembly bill.
The SASH and MASH programs those are fun. Single family affordable solar housing and multifamily affordable housing projects.
What's the Assembly got their nose in now?
Were supposed to expire in 2016. They are trying to push those out to 2021. And that is a large sum of rebate money that's available to people building brand new homes that exceed 15% of Title 24.
Okay, so slow down because there's dumb people in the studio. And yes, I'm talking about me. Explain it, elaborate it for the commoner like me.
The regular solar rebate that people hear about is called a CSI program. That money is gone.
Okay, so the normal dollars
Right.
have been depleted.
Yeah, a lot of people call it a state rebate. It's the California Solar Initiative rebate is gone.
Okay.
That's for residential and commercial.
Okay.
However, the 30% federal tax credit is still there, which is huge. So that's a great thing. Now, for some reason, when you're building a new home, a different rebate program is available, and it's called the New Solar Home Partnership, which is what those two programs I mentioned are underneath. And that is a much higher rebate amount that's available to you if you build an energy-efficient home.
And the laws are as such where developers are being required to build more energy-efficient homes.
Yes, it is all moving in that direction.
Gotcha,
Yep.
gotcha. So is that a federal tax credit, state tax credit?
No.
What kind of?
The 30% that is a federal income tax
Federal income
credit,
tax.
which
Okay.
is huge. So if you bought a $30,000 system, 30% of that is $9,000. So that would be a $9,000 federal tax credit that you would not have to give Uncle Sam at the end of that year.
So you would adjust your adjusted gross income would be
Comes down by
reduced
$9,000.
by $9,000.
Right. So if you've paid that in, you will actually get a check back from the IRS for
Right.
$9,000.
Oh wow!
And if
so
you
it's,
haven't-
it's dollar for dollar.
Yes, and if you haven't paid it in, then you can deduct
Deduct
that.
it off your income.
Like if you do estimated tax payments, you can also do that too. So
Nice.
it's huge. It's a big
Wow.
incentive.
Is there something special that you generally a lot of those? It's the HUD or the closing statement on the home is what they use for their documentation
To verify
that they bought a new house.
That they bought a new house.
Yeah. Well, actually, for us, it's a PG&E account number
Really?
or Southern Cal Edison account number.
Gotcha.
There you go.
You got to have that in a meter number. You need to have basically a statement Showing your name
that
with the
you
address.
are tied to that.
Right.
I gotcha.
So
I
are there any other legislative changes that you see that are either in the works or have changed recently or that maybe on the horizon down the road that could affect consumers in a positive way?
Well, the positive one is SB 43, which they call it the Shared Renewable Energy Self-Generation Program. And that is actually, they're starting to put laws in place to where there is a concept coming up which is called community solar. And that is basically where at some point in a city or county or somewhere a large solar farm, in a sense, will be put in. And the idea behind it is that homeowners that have maybe too much shading on their roof or don't have enough roof space, or maybe they live in an apartment or something, they would like to benefit from solar, they can purchase their production from this community solar program. Ooh. So they're starting to put the laws in place to make that happen.
Wow.
Now, again, I imagine that's probably going to be under a PPA type of thing. You're going to be buying kilowatt hours.
Gotcha.
So you're going to have to really look at that contract. How long are you tied in for?
Be
What's
careful,
the cost?
be
What are
informed.
the increases on it? That kind of stuff. Right.
Gotcha. Nice.
Right. So that's good stuff that's coming.
Anything else legislatively?
Legislative. Well, the sad part is if you're on the CARE program,
Which a lot of people are.
which a lot of people are, right?
A lot of our seniors.
They are trying to get those rates to increase. One bill out is to increase it at least 4% max per year on that. And then there's another one under the Cal Works program, I think, where they're trying to increase those also.
Wow.
So it's
that's
coming.
concerning. Okay.
Yep.
Ever changing and ever evolving.
It is.
The
It is.
legislative landscape. Next thing you know,
Don't get me started.
Yeah,
I've stayed off the box today.
I know you have, and you've done a very good job. Well, you've
Staying off the soapbox?
Next thing you know, state of California is going to be in the
Covered in
solar-
panels?
in the solar power business.
Don't
What-
start talking.
What do you think the
that
chances
way.
are, Glenn?
Well, yes, that's already in the works. The CPUC is required by 2020 that 33% of the utilities renewable or 33% of their
the energy
output has to be done by renewables. So solar electricity is one of them, thermal's one of them, hydro's one of them.
What
wind.
percentage is it estimated that that PG&E's output is from renewables currently?
Yeah. I don't have that specific number, but it's very low. They have a long ways to go in a short period of time. That's why you're seeing all
Smart
of these
meters
huge
and all those.
No, it's why you're seeing all these huge solar farms being out in Fresno County areas. All of these plans coming up because they're pushing real hard to get these done. But on that side, solar is still expensive. Someone has to pay for it.
Gotcha.
Who do you think's going to pay for it? People that don't have solar.
Let me ask a question because I know I'm driving around Fresno, I'm driving around Clovis, I'm driving around Fowler, Reedley places here showing houses, and I'm seeing solar going up, all these things going up on the school grounds.
Oh my gosh, Clovis Unified.
Everybody's got
all
them.
over the place.
Everybody's got them.
Right.
Tell me more. Is that initiatives coming down from the state, or do we know? I mean, does anybody really know? I mean, I'm thinking, hey, we're really progressive, darn it, and we're doing great, and la la la. But then I'm thinking, are we, or are just being mandated to,
Yeah. That one actually, if I remember, it came out of a bond issue that was passed on that for that.
So we're paying for it. That's pretty much. Hey, we're not that progressive. We're just being told to pay for it.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Thanks.
So-
Thanks for that. Appreciate it, Glenn. Thanks for the update on the world we live in. Here we're,
From beginning to end, after a client contacts you and you sit down with them and do the consultation and the estimate and you really determine what is best for them based upon their need and their usage over the last year. How long does it take to actually, before you start and install the system? How long does it take to start the project and then completely install the system?
Well, again, that's really up to how they finance it. If they pay cash or they do cash financing, we can have it installed in 60 days. If you lease it, now it moves you into a whole different ballgame, and you are normally probably 6 to 8 months out before I can actually get the system turned on.
Wow.
So
And why is that? Why the lag?
It has to do with the financing of the leases. They put them in what's called a tranche, where they take all of, like maybe they get $20 million.
Sure.
So basically, $20 million of leases have to be sold. They put it all together. They send the package to the bank. The bank looks at it, reviews it, says these are okay. and we are not allowed to turn the system on until the bank accepts ownership of it. They have to get ownership of it to get the 30% federal tax credit.
Wow.
So
It's
they
a funding issue.
So they don't let us turn it on. So
Right.
the sad part is we have had some clients where the system's on, done, and it's sitting on their roof for 2 to 3 months just waiting for the
Right. For
bank
notice
The
to
funding.
proceed
Right.
from the lease company
Well,
saying,
because-
okay, turn it on.
Well,
Right.
but that's
So,
because
wow.
also they're filing. They have to file the lease and all again,
Right.
the paperwork against
Right.
the home.
It's all that stuff behind
yeah,
it.
it's a Can you imagine? How many thousands?
I'm sorry?
Like
How
20
many?
million, like 20 million.
Yeah,
or,
it's- it's
That's
sold in
a
different
lot
blocks,
of
right.
homes to be leaning, don't you think?
Right.
That's a paperwork nightmare, I think.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're going to come up with something like MERS, the mortgage electronic registration system, that every instrument has an 18-digit social security number that goes with it. That you
Well, it
Yeah,
has
and
an
seriously,
APN.
It does have an APN.
Never dull.
Well, Glenn, I
That's
tell you
interesting.
what, this morning, it is always great to have you in the studio, and the conversation is always enlightening, and I always seem to, because I'm not that bright, I always seem to learn something new about solar, the process, and then also legislatively, what's really going on out there on the landscape right at the moment, and how solar is ever-changing.
Blue
Yes,
and
it is.
yellow, blue
If
and
someone-
yellow.
But it is booming. It's here to stay.
If someone wants to get a hold of you, just call Glenn direct at 449-8989. Again, that's 449-8989.
That's the first step in a 5-step process.
There you go.
Just so
You
you
got
know.
it. And we'll hold your hand all the way through it.
There you go. A big thank you to Glenn Seaman, CEO and owner of Arise Solar. Call Glenn today and tell him you heard it on the Real Estate Radio Network, or use press forward keywords Arise Solar to request a free, no-obligation quote on how you can put solar to work for you. Also, special thank you to my special co-host, Michelle Lynn Pettis, here in the studio. Thanks for getting up with me, kid.
Blue and yellow.
Blue
I think
and
we
yellow.
need some blue and yellow
There you
cars.
go.
I'm looking for them.
There you go. Always, and Johnny, thank you so much, buddy. Always great having you get up with us early this Sunday morning. Our goal at the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market, so we can help bring you
Back home.
Don't forget to tune into the Real Estate Radio Network next Sunday morning at 7 a.m. right here on 105.9, the FM KMJ. Local news, local talk. Make it a great day, Central Valley, and we will see you next week.
The preceding program was paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.